People like getting angry at a thumbnail because they don't know anything about anything. And like they have like these beliefs that like X is X and anyone who talks about it is like Satan or something. Bad empanada having a normal one. What does this even mean? I'd love to see this person try to explain himself. Like you need to like have some sort of like completely fucked up, uncritical brain to see this and like agree with this person. Just posting a picture of a thumbnail with zero context and being like, oh, this is self-evidently wrong and bad. And then it's basically another person posting the exact same thing. There were like 10 more of these. Literally just like, wow, I can't believe that you would ever talk about this. Like show these people like an actual history book and they would go like fucking, holy shit, these historians are goddamn just like Holocaust deniers. This is yikes, sweetie. You looked at the academic scholarship surrounding a topic? Unreal, unbelievable. What, I mean, how can they complain about the thumbnail? It's the Holodomor genocide question is literally the name of the Wikipedia article. The Holodomor purportedly happened in Ukraine, hence the Ukrainian flag. And then there's the picture of Stalin because Stalin is purportedly the one who perpetrated it. So every single thing about this thumbnail is directly relevant to the topic. Like, is it clickbait when your thumbnail accurately depicts the content of the video? The complaints just don't make any sense at all. These are just fucking morons, like uncritical morons with an empty hole where their brain should be, complaining about nothing. They're essentially just complaining about the fact that I dare to talk about the historical scholarship regarding the Holodomor, which is so normal and mainstream that there was a fucking Wikipedia article about it even. And every single thing that I said in the video is from Wikipedia, basically. I just looked at the sources on Wikipedia. And yeah, there's this other, like this Reddit thread by some absolute genius expressing the same sentiment. There was so many more of these. Like, yep, I guess Bad Empanada has officially done the Holodomor denial bullshit. For these people, actually looking at historical evidence and analyzing it, and not even, like, I didn't even look at the evidence myself. It was filtered through Wikipedia, which in turn was sourcing the academic historical scholarship on the topic. That's not allowed because these people just essentially take for granted the propaganda they've been fed their entire lives, and actually looking at anything to do with it makes you a Holodomor denying tanky. Another thing like this, these internet like liberals who call themselves leftist thing, is they like to like accuse anyone of X-denialism. If you actually look at evidence for something, they accuse you of X-denialism. And the goal of this is just, it's very obvious. It's to associate like anyone who contests like the taken for granted zero knowledge narratives that are often spread by the West in order to legitimize their imperialism with Holocaust denial. So for example, if you dare to like actually look at the evidence for something like, for example, Xinjiang, and you say, hey, the evidence that we have just doesn't really confirm the things that are being filtered through the Western press, like 1 million people in concentration camps or whatever. They can then call you a Uyghur genocide denialist and equate you with a Holocaust denialist. That's essentially what this all is. And obviously the proposition of this, like the effect of it, is to equate anyone who actually like looks at the weight of the evidence for basically anything that is being spread in the mainstream media, or like that is a taken for granted sort of narrative in the West. If you dare to look at the evidence for it and make an honest assessment of it even, you are an X-denier and you are equal to a Holocaust denier. And the funniest thing about this is at the same time, these people are the biggest X-word deniers of all. They deny fucking everything. Like at very best, they would never talk about anything unless you force them to talk about it. And at worst, like if you talked about the very, very, very numerous genocides of their countries, the geopolitical blocs they support, etc., they would outright deny it. You know, they would be like, oh no, there was no Iraqi genocide. We were liberating them for democracy and freedom. Or they'd be like, yeah, the Iraq war was wrong, but to call it genocide, that doesn't make any sense. You know, we might have killed 1 million people, but it was by accident. These people just have holes where their brains are supposed to be. You should be very suspect of anyone who talks about X-denialism, who's not simply talking about Holocaust denialism. The way these people, they throw out these terms, it's obviously just dishonest, very suspect. The main point of it is to shut down anyone who is actually looking at the evidence for something which they've taken for granted as true, because that's not allowed. You know, they haven't looked at the evidence for it. They can't actually justify their beliefs. So if you question it, it like awakens this sort of primal disgust within them, which they don't know why they have it. They don't know how to explain it, but they just feel it and they're sure that they're right. It's all about vibes. It's like the sort of liberal, feel-good, Western imperialist vibes. We are the civilized people of the world. We're teaching everyone else how to be human beings. If you dare question our feel-good liberal narrative, you are evil. But yeah, I mean, I literally just went to the Wikipedia article, right? Named my video after the same name as the Wikipedia article. I exclusively looked at sources from the Wikipedia article, which was made by people who were trying to push the genocide narrative at that. And the result of it is like these absolute fucking morons, these Western imperialist dumbasses. Yup, I guess Bad Empanada has officially done the Holodomor denial bullshit. You absolute fucking moron. This is what happens when you spend every single waking hour of your life consuming anime and video games instead of reading a fucking book. You just take like things that you've heard offhandedly by other morons on Twitter as simple fact, rather than actually looking into them for yourself and using your brain. What's the point of like making actual good historical content based in the academic literature when your average Western imperialist dumbass like this guy here doesn't give a single shit? All they care about is, what conclusion makes my side look like the good guys the most?